Okay, so what we're going to do in this spreadsheet is we're going to show how the quarter one average and the quarter two average might be numbers that are either both lower or both higher than the semester average, which intuitively seems like it shouldn't be able to work, but I want to show you how it works. Okay, so to just kind of give a brief picture of what we have here, we have a weighted category system, and this is only going to be true in a weighted category. If it's total points, it has to fall between the two quarters. Okay, I have three categories: achievement, proficiency, and effort. Okay, and the weight for those categories are 38%, 38%, and 22%. And these particular numbers are just coming from a teacher that I'm working with. So, but this is the first requirement for it to be able to happen. One of the categories has to be lower than the other ones. Okay, so in this situation, we have this effort which is worth less than proficiency and achievement. The second thing that has to happen to trigger this weird occurrence is that one of the quarters has to have way less points in a category than the other quarter. Okay, so if we look at the quarter one achievement points, okay, there's a 100 points in quarter one, but there's only 5 points in quarter two, which means that there's 105 points in the semester, but 100 of those points come from quarter one. Okay, so this is the two requirements. And by the way, the numbers don't have to be this unbalanced, and they don't have to be this unbalanced. It's just that you see them more clearly when the two quarters are really unweighted. So 100 and an 80 would still do it. It would just mute the effect. It would make it so that it was less noticeable. Okay, so if the class has one category that's less, and if the class has one quarter where there's a grade where one of those categories has less points, then you can trigger the effect. Okay, let's look at the first one. If the small category of the big, if the small quarter of the big category is low, watch what happens. This person has a 20% for achievement for second quarter, and 100% for achievement for the first quarter. So this 20% for achievement is bringing their quarter two grade way down. Even though they're getting 100% for effort and 100% for proficiency, the fact that that quarter they're getting a 20% for achievement means that it brought their grade way down. However, because that 1 out of 5 is barely reflected in their semester achievement grade, their semester achievement grade is still really good, a 96%, which means their semester one total is still really good, which is why they have a 98%, because their semester one total has a 96, 100, and 100, which is weighting out to be a 98, whereas their quarter has a 20%, 100, and 100, which weights out to be almost a 70%. But we still have a number that falls between. Quarter one is 100, quarter two is 60. The second thing that has to happen for the number not to fall in between is that in the category that's weighted less, in a different quarter, you have to also have a low number, okay? So what's happening now is the low number in their effort grade, they have a 10% for quarter one effort, is making their quarter one score low. Their low number for their quarter two grade is an achievement, and that's making their quarter two score low. But the semester grade is higher than both of those. Okay, so we have an 80 quarter one, a 68 quarter two, but then the semester grade is an 88. And you can see that by looking at the fact that this the semester one grade here is barely reflecting this low quarter. That's why it's above the two numbers. Okay, think of it in some ways that like this quarter 2 is artificially low, and it should be way higher. Okay, so now we've just shown a picture of a quarter 1 score, which is an 80, a quarter 2 score, which is a 68, but a semester score, which is higher than the 2. If these are flipped, okay, so if I have the low score in the big weight category, now that's ridiculously low, and I have the high score in the different category, the small category, and the different quarter. So in this case, the low score is going to be here. Okay. Now we have a semester grade that's lower than the 2 quarters. So your quarter 1 total is a 61, your quarter 2 total is an 80%, but the semester 1 total is only a 53. So it's lower than either quarter. And again, the reason why that worked is we had one category that was underweighted and one quarter that was underweighted in terms of the semester. And so what we have here is we have a quarter 1 score, or I'm sorry, a quarter 1, 2 score that's artificially high. Because even though they have 100%, which is leading to this 80%, that category where they have 100% is in the real case only at a 5%. Okay, so in general, they're doing really poorly in that category, which is reflected in the semester thing. So because this score is artificially high, the semester grade ends up to be lower because in some ways this grade proportionally should be lower. Now, I understand that that's really like a messy explanation, but it's led us to trust the fact that in a weighted category that has those two things true, where there's one quarter that's less weighted and one category that's less weighted, it's totally fine for a semester grade to be outside the range of these two, and it doesn't indicate an error in the score.